Hey, it's me, Nalthazar, and welcome to another Magic the Gathering Puzzle Quest video. Today's video is going to be my masterpiece chase list. So I'll try and highlight specifically the cards that I think are like the super chase cards, and the cards that I think are just more of interesting to play with. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, we're going to be starting with the masterpieces. I've actually broken down all of my chase lists down by rarity, so we're going to be starting out with the masterpieces, and they're also alphabetized. So the first of the masterpieces is a Darker Valkyrie. This was actually one of my favorite paper cards way back in the day. I really enjoyed it, and I actually really like how they have implemented it in Puzzle Quest also. So it's 18 for an 8/9. It has two of our new mechanics in that it is a snow creature and it also has boast. It's also going to have flying and vigilance, and at the beginning of your turn create 4 snow gems. So that alone makes it actually pretty decent in that it's going to be creating 4 snow gems a turn. That's quite a few snow gems, and if we look at the tooltip from the patch notes, not only are we going to get bonus synergy for snow cards for having snow gems and making snow gem matches, but we're also supposedly going to be getting extra mana by matching snow gems for cards that are snow, so that's pretty cool. And if that weren't enough, it's also got this boast 9. So when it attacks, it's either on that turn or the next turn, you can drain 9 mana from your hand to return the first creature card from your graveyard to play under your control. And if there are 12 or more snow gems, you return that creature, and then all of the reinforcements of that creature from the graveyard to the battlefield. And since this thing is going to be creating 4 snow gems every single turn, I think it's reasonable to expect that you'll be able to ultimately be able to bring everything back. So that's pretty sweet. 9 mana to be able to get stuff back from the graveyard is a big win, especially if you're playing with really big creatures. This is a card that I definitely very much so want. So this is on the higher level of my chase list. It's not like the number 1 card, but it's definitely on the higher level for me personally. Next up is Countryside Crusher. So this is a 14 mana 6/6. It's a giant warrior. Giants are a tribe in Kaldheim, so it'll be nice to have some big beefy giants. Granted, I guess by nature all giants are big and beefy. They're into that thick thing, so that's cool. But at the beginning of your turn, destroy the top card of your library. If that card is a land card, destroy a block of 5/5 gems. If that card is a giant, deal 9 damage to your opponent's planeswalker. So right there, it can turn into destroying supports. It can whap away shields from a bunch of Foretold supports, which is pretty cool. You could put this in like a giant Foretold deck. And it's also going to be able to do extra damage to our opponent's planeswalker and maybe get us some bonus mana. So win-win-win. And then when a land card enters a graveyard from anywhere, this creature gets a permanent +3/+3 buff. So there's a lot of different things that are going to mill your library, or that you can use like Realms Uncharted that's going to let you fetch one of the first or 2 of the first 4 land or landforming cards and dump the rest in the graveyard. But nonetheless, there are a bunch of ways that we can dump a whole bunch of things in the graveyard, and so as such, lands can get dumped in the graveyard and buff this thing up. Seems pretty cool to me. Could maybe have some fun synergy with something like Wrenn and 6. This is near the bottom of my chase list in that it's something that I want to try because it looks fun and it could actually be very strong, but I'd have to test it out to make sure. Dead of Winter. This is the number 1 chase card for me in terms of masterpieces. Not for the whole set. There's a mythic that's like the end-all be-all best card in the set. But Dead of Winter is the chase card for me for the masterpieces. So this is a black spell. It's 10 mana, and it says all non-snow creatures get -X/-X until end of turn. All snow creatures you control get +X/+X. Then, if there are 10 or more snow gems, your opponent loses 10 times X life. X is the number of snow gems. So right there, if there are 10 or more snow gems, your opponent loses that life. So they're guaranteed to lose at least 100 life if that happens. And if you take a look at the rest of the set, there's just so many things that are going to be able to produce snow gems. And there's like stuff that wants you to have like way more than 10. I think there's like a Kraken that wants you to have like 25 snow gems or some nonsense. So there's a heck of a lot of ways to get snow gems. I imagine that Dead of Winter is just going to be an auto kill. Like, you're going to very easily be able to play this and then just flat out auto kill your opponent. So this is an absolutely terrifying card. This is the singular greatest source of single target damage that we've seen in Puzzle Quest, is my guess. So yeah, this card looks like it's going to be absolutely filthy. Complete filth mongrel, game ender. Boss or non-boss. Like, if you have like 25 gems out, that's 250 damage that you're going to be doing straight to the face for just one casting of this. And there's stuff that we can do to copy spells, so yeah. Anyways, this is nasty, super nasty. You want it. Heavenly Blademaster. This card is just very strong. Like, all around, very, very strong. So, it's 16 mana for a 6/9 with double strike, boast, rally, or whatever the banner thing is called that makes it so when it attacks it gets to become the first creature in your slot. Great job, me. And flying. So 6/9 double strike for 16 is already really good. But then she has some pretty fantastic abilities on her too. So the first of those is when this creature enters the battlefield, the first aura and equipment cards in your hand both gain full mana. And then she also has Boast 6, so you can drain that 6 from your hand when she attacks. And your other creatures get +X+X. X is the number of equipment cards you control. So that boost is a permanent boost, so you can just keep boosting everything every single time. Sadly, it's the number of equipment cards and not the number of equipment and reinforcement. But nonetheless, that when she enters the battlefield, you get to give the first aura and equipment card in your hand full mana is pretty fantastic. Especially if you were to pair her with something like Thassa, where you could just flicker her every turn and then get a free aura and equipment card every single turn. So there's definitely some wacky stuff that you can do with this card. I quite like it. It'll be fairly easy to build around and get some pretty extreme power out of it. She's in that like mid to high tier of chase for me. She's not like number one like Dead Winter, but you know, she's still pretty good. Right, Dead Winter? Dead of Winter. Shame on me. I'll get them. We'll get there. Hellkite Tyrant. This card is fantastic. So 23 mana for a 10/9 dragon. It's got Boast. It has Rally, Flying, and Trample. Boast for 12, so this is pretty expensive as a boast thing goes because you have to drain 12 from your hand. But you create a copy of each opposing artifact support and put it into play under your control. So it just enters play, but you get a copy of every single artifact they control. So you think of some of the more powerful artifacts that are existing in the game right now, and they magically become yours. Skyclave Relic, yes, you get all of the copies. You can think of Shadow Spear. Yep, you're going to be getting that too. So there's some pretty cool stuff you can do with that. And then at the beginning of your turn, if you control 10 or more artifact cards, including their reinforcements, you gain 30 loyalty. So the big part of this for me here is that you are going to include their reinforcements and its artifact cards and not supports. So if you pair Hellkite Tyrant with, I don't know, Thopter Spy Network, you're going to be getting those 10 artifacts really darn quick like, and then voila, you're going to be getting 30 loyalty per turn. This is the easiest way that we've gotten to get 30 loyalty per turn, and it comes on a critter that has a 10/9 body and has that bonus boast effect where if our opponent actually has any kind of decent artifact game, that we just get to get all of them for free and all of their artifacts are belong to us. Hellkite Tyrant is a very cool card. It's not like an absolute, no matter what must have this, but nonetheless, you can think of a whole bunch of red planeswalkers where this would be good in, especially if it's red-blue. Brokon, you're going to be using your third ability every turn. If Hellkite Tyrant is the only big beefy creature that you've got in your deck, you're going to be pulling 30-27 haste worth of Hellkite Tyrant every single turn by using the Sangreat Overlord ability. I'm pretty sure that's what Brokon's third is called. Or if you're running one of the Bolosses, you can just do horrible, nasty things by spamming third abilities, especially with Bolas the Flip Planeswalker, and make it so your opponent never draws cards again. There's a lot of really good stuff you can do with this and something like Thopter Spy Network. So I'm very much excited to have this card. This is on the higher level of cards that I want. It's not a card that I'm necessarily going to use in an event, like an endgame event, but it's a card that I really want to try out. And, well, I mean, who doesn't want dragons, honestly? Except for dungeons. Dungeons don't seem to want dragons, and I don't quite know why. Merit Lage's Slumber is on here just because it's sort of, I'm guessing, all right? So if my guess is anywhere near correct, then it absolutely deserves to be on this list. If my guess is not near correct, and my guesses tend to be fairly good, then this is going to be hot dog garbage. So this is 10 mana for a snow enchantment. It has both snow and foretell. So when you cast your first snow card each turn, draw a card, create 2 snow gems. Okay, cool, no biggie. When this support enters the board, if it was foretold, immediately create 10 snow gems. That's actually kind of cool. And then at the beginning of your turn, if there are 25 or more snow gems, exile the support and create a Merit Lage token. Now, there's a whole bunch of stuff in this set that creates snow gems. You're going to be seeing it throughout all of my different chase stuff. But nonetheless, that when it's foretold, it's going to create 10. You can just start trying to foretell as many of these as possible. In Paper Magic, the Merit Lage token, I want to say, is a 2020 token. And so the reason why this here is on my list is because if this makes a 2020 token, we have a Hydra that makes it so that we populate twice during each player's turn, always, which means that we would get, every time it becomes our turn, we would get 4 of these Merit Lage tokens from populate, which means that we'd get a 2020, and by the time it was our turn again, that 2020 would magically be a 100-100. That means that this would be able to put out like the strongest beef thick token that's going to go out and start smacking people like a Slim Jim. So look at all those tentacles, think of them as Slim Jims, and then whappy, whappy, whappy. Pretty cool, right? I'm guessing that Merit Lage's token is going to be a 2020, but because life totals in Puzzle Quest are higher, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a bigger token. Nonetheless, it gives us a really fun target to populate. So, big win, assuming that it does that. I'm guessing it probably does. No, I don't have insider information. Maskwood Nexus. This is a new artifact. This card was actually printed in Kaldheim, so it's kind of cool to see a Kaldheim card come in as a masterpiece, but, you know. So this is 13 mana. It's got Mana Field, that new mechanic that came out with Puzzle Masters. So when you make a gem match for the first time in your turn in a gem that is adjacent to where this support is, or the support gem, you're going to create a copy of Realm Walker on the battlefield under your control. Realm Walker is a new legendary creature. You see it on the screen. It's this little changeling thing, whoop-de-doo. But when this support loses shields for the first time each turn, each non-changeling creature you control gets +2/+2 for each shapeshifter creature you control, including their reinforcements. So Realm Walker, as you can see, is going to be reinforcing itself a whole bunch of times. It's just part of its effect. And so it's going to make it so that all of your critters are going to get like these really nice boosts. And ideally, if you're playing with gem conversion, you're going to be getting a copy of Realm Walker every single turn on the battlefield. So you could potentially be getting up to 2 reinforcements of that thing a turn, which means that you could start actually pumping out some pretty sweet buffs. This is like very near the bottom of my list for chase cards, but it's one of 2 cards that's going to be creating Realm Walker tokens. So I'm at the very least really interested in seeing how this whole Realm Walker thing works out in the event that you were to play an actual Realm Walker deck based on the 3 cards, Realm Walker, Maskwood Nexus, and then you'll be seeing in a little bit there is a another support, a mythic support that makes Realm Walkers. Mind Shrieker. This is 11 for a 5/5 flying spirit bird. When you foretell a card, destroy the first creature card from target player's library. Then this creature gains all of that creature's basic evergreens until end of turn. Then, when you cast a foretold card or a foretold non-token card enters play under your control, destroy the first creature card from target player's library. Then this creature gets +X/X until end of turn. X is that card's base mana cost. So, what I really like about this card is that when you foretell a card, that's when you exile the thing that has foretell. So you could just sort of start exiling them foreseeably from your hand. That will start to foretell them. And then that's just going to go ahead and, if you select your opponent, get rid of all of the creatures from your opponent's library. They're just getting destroyed, meaning that your opponent is no longer going to be able to play creatures. And since most decks in Puzzle Quest rely on creatures to kill their opponents, that means that this card is basically going to be taking your opponent's deck to the vet and getting rid of their happy bits to make sure that they can't do horrible things to you. So, yeah, your couch is going to be safe from now on if you've got Mind Shrieker in your deck. That's not entirely true. I should stay appropriate. I don't know. It's late where I am. We'll chalk it up to that, not that this is just normally how I am anyways. But nonetheless, Mind Shrieker is actually a really good card. And not only is it going to be able to do this to your opponent's side, but if you're playing some kind of sick reanimate deck on your side, you could throw in Mind Shrieker, just target yourself, start dumping your critters into the graveyard, and then just start bringing them all back. We've got a bunch of really cool black cards that are based on either A, you're going to be pulling your own stuff back from the graveyard, or B, you're going to be taking all the critters in the graveyard and counting them up and then making them into zombie tokens. So nonetheless, Mind Shrieker is cool for a lot of different decks. I really like it. I'm definitely keeping it an eye out for it. This is definitely higher up on my list. I could see myself playing with this card a lot in events, just for the fact that it's going to make it so my opponent doesn't get creatures. Nadir, Agent of the Duskennel, whatever. This dude belongs in a kennel. Look at this. What? Like, all right. So, oh no. I'll read what he does and then I'll explain my hesitation here. So, this is 9 mana for a 3/3. It's got Leader. It's legendary. It's got Death Touch. So it has Leader for Elf. When a token is destroyed, this creature gets +3/+3. When this creature dies, create X elf warrior tokens. X is this creature's power. So first up, this is kind of like the most perfect leader that I have seen maybe ever. This thing is absolutely beautiful. I love it. It's fantastic. It just has this one minor problem in that it's mono black. Why? Why is this mono black? Why couldn't this be black green? Why couldn't this be just green? We have so much that's going to be making elf tokens. We have a brand new elf token producing planeswalker in the set that's going to make a whole bunch of elf tokens, and we can't use Nadir in that deck. So yes, there's going to be some wacky stuff that we're going to be able to do with Nadir and one of the exclusive bundles and just some other cards that are in the set. I love that this thing is when it dies, you just then take its power toughness and turn it into elf tokens, so that then if you play another one of these Nadirs, then all of a sudden it's going to eat up all of those tokens and then just get like crazy big, which is really cool. But, you know, right? So like, let's say that this thing is 30/30, right? It dies, you make 30 tokens, you play another Nadir, and boom, that Nadir is going to be reinforced 30 times for an extra 90 power. It's going to come in as a 93/93. Like if you've got some kind of nasty elf token shenanigan thing going on and you play something like this with, I want to say it's Liliana Death's Majesty, where you just kill it and bring it back on the battlefield, you're going to make this thing crazy strong, like in horrible, horrible ways of crazy strong. Really cool card. I love it. I just wish it was black and green. Rhyme Feather Owl. Ah, Hedwig. Rip. All right, so this is 17 mana. It's a snow critter. It's flying. It's only a 3/3, and you might be wondering, Balthazar, why do you have a 3/3 for 17 on this list? Because of its abilities. So when this creature enters the battlefield, it gets +X/+X. That's permanent. X is the number of snow gems. I have a feeling we're going to be having a heck of a lot of snow gems on the battlefield, so I really see this thing actually being an absolute massive beatstick coming out onto the battlefield. 10 is probably not even going to be remotely a problem. And so I could easily see this thing actually being something that comes out as like a 20/20 for 17. Like realistically, I know that that means 17 snow gems, but I really think that it'll be like not that hard to imagine. When you match 3 or more snow gems, the first non-snow card in your hand gains snow, which is cool because if matching snow gems is going to make it so that snow cards get additional mana, then this is going to make it so that your cards are going to be getting additional mana. And if that wasn't it, it's going to go ahead and turn gems into snow by itself. When this creature attacks, create 4 snow gems. So pretty sweet all around. I like it. Hooray. Voidmaw. Oof, this thing's ugly. Seriously. Like, where do the mouths begin? I don't want to know, honestly. Who does? And like, you know what? Never mind. We're not going to question the art of this hideous beast. So it's 15 for an 8/9 with Trample and Berserker. When a creature with Foretell dies, move that card to your exile instead and foretell that creature, which is super sweet. So a creature with Foretell dies, either yours or your opponent's, and boom, it's foretold as a support on your side, and it is yours. When a card is moved from an exile to anywhere, this creature gets +4/+4. This thing is kind of like the, hey, you're playing a Foretell deck? That's cool, I'm going to kill you. Because the things with Foretell get moved from exile back to the hand, and boom, this beatstick is getting more powerful permanently, and it already has Berserker, and it has Trample. So I see this actually being a very strong card, especially being that it's only 15 mana. It's honestly a sigh of relief to see a black creature that's really strong. I really, really quite like Voidmaw. It's cool. So that does it for the masterpieces. And I know that the video is already getting kind of long, so I apologize for that. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and get into the mythics next. You know what? Let's just do this. If you've watched this far, you know that I mentioned a few times that like later in this video, I'm going to go ahead and share the mythics. I'm just going to make that a separate video so you don't have to watch like a 50-minute video. You can just parcel them out. So yeah, mythics and masterpieces will be separate for this set. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.